Yes, the first question and the most important question on everyone's minds right now. How did this young boy get into this profession? Right? Good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, respected President Mr. Nevatia, respected Secretary Mr. Kumbhat, and members of Rotary Club of Calcutta Mahanagar. I, Saurabh Gupta, a Director of Kriya. I am extremely humbled and privileged to be part of this august gathering. In addressing an issue, a topic which is very, very close to my heart, extracurricular activities for young adults and teenagers, as Mr. Kumbhat puts it. When I was given the topic, the first question that came to my mind was, are we really talking about extracurricular activities or the over-proliferation of extracurricular activities in today's modern times? A typical child who comes to a Kriya Institute and the parent who comes to meet me says, okay, my child has to go to school in the morning, then he's followed by a tennis routine in the afternoon, followed by tuitions in the evening, and then finally he has dance classes, then he has Vedic Shloka classes in the evening, his time is earmarked for dinner, after which he has to spend family time, then he has to read a book, 5 pages specifically, watch his favorite channel, go to sleep on time, and he has to wake up at 6. Sounds like the perfect recipe for extracurricular activities, doesn't it? I beg to differ completely, and hopefully I'll be able to shed some light on whether extracurricular activities as an option or as an over option. As an over option is the bane of today's modern society. The question was what next, and I had the option, like many others, to bite the bait and get into a multinational where I could have followed the rat race and been part of the many, and there bit the entrepreneurship bug. And therein existed not only an outlet for a creative opportunity, but also business opportunity, which in marketing circles we term it as a brand positioning gap. We recognized that a brand could be created, which could not only cater to a need in the market, but also fulfill the child in every one of us. And therein Kriya was born under our umbrella. But that in itself in 2003 was the biggest camp. 160 children managed by roughly 50 odd teachers in our very first camp, maintaining a student-teaching ratio of 5:1. And as we progressed through that camp, suddenly we realized, and I realized, that extracurricular options for children were a serious business. Not just a serious business in terms of commerce, but a serious business in terms of tapping the inner talent that lay within each and every one of us. And age was not a barrier, really not a barrier. Again, how was Kriya born? How was the genesis of Kriya in first place? This is something I'm sharing on a public platform for the very first time. Kriya is actually born out of 5 elements. Just like there are 5 elements in nature, Kriya also derives its 5 elements. They being Kala, Kalpana, Vichar, Shilp and Bhavna. Or our grandchildren, if I may say, for dance classes, whether it's a Padatik or a modern dance fusion class, where we feel that our children should learn how to dance and be able to present themselves on stage adequately. The question that came into my mind was, what about those children who could not learn how to dance, who were not good dancers? What about them? So the passion for dance was actually redundant in them, and so should society or our parents or family have shunned them into saying that they are not good enough to actually express themselves through the medium of dance. And therein lay the beauty of Kala, where we said every child has in it the power to dance. Even if you spread your hands wide and expressed the creation of earth through a bubble and said, here comes Mother Kali who blows a bubble and Mother Earth was created, that in itself was dance, the birth of creation, and a dance form was born. Kalpana was talking about imagination. The imagination would be reflected through various channels, most prominent then to me being poetry. It is something I had been doing in my school days, and I felt that every child, whether it was through the medium of painting or through the medium of poetry, had in it himself or herself to express himself or herself through poetry or painting. That's what Kalpana was seeking to imbibe and empower the child with. Bhavna, as the word suggests, was about emotions, and what best to express your emotions than to a student of Badal Sarkar's third form of theatre, which was very, very prevalent in the early 90s, where theatre was not a platform where you would come and do drawing room theatre, but something which would be shared by the audience, where somebody from the audience would just get up and become a character and bring the audience to life, was what I had in mind when I thought of Bhavna. Shilp, as the name suggests, being craft, and even today, so many classes which I held on origami and punch craft, if you have been keeping track of things that have been happening around the children. And I felt if we just looked within into our country, the modern handicraft that our country could provide with each and every city or district or state, whether it was Madhubani painting or Shilpkar or Rabindranath Tagore's Katha work or creation of alphabets and letters from leaves, was a very unique way of probably teaching children craft, which if children could learn, they would not only grow in terms of learning about the national heritage, but also be able to provide something which is very, very unique and never done before, if I may say so. What have I left out on? Bhavna, Shilp,
Vichar.
Vichar, yes, thank you. Vichar for me was a very strange concoction of things. Vichar thought, as it might be. I was a very poor student of mathematics while I was in school. Now, it so happened, so how do you learn your maths? I went back to Vedic mathematics. And suddenly I realized that 25 into 25 or 34 into 23 could be solved in the line. And I was actually better than my teachers. And today I actually take discourses and classes on Vedic mathematics for children and ladies alike in different clubs. And Vedic mathematics was basically what I intended to actually empower children with through the medium of Vichar, which I newly learned when I was in college. So with these tools in hand, I said, let's launch Kriya. I'm sure we're going to have a great success. 2 months into marketing, I realized we live in a commercial society, we live in a commercial world. With these terms in hand, I was not going to get anywhere. So the Kriya, the Vedic concept became Kriya with a flower on top of I, and this is actually a new logo. It's got a lot of connotations which I'm going to explain later. But then it was slightly more amateurish, and the Kriya workshops were born, basking in the success we ventured on. Bring in the interaction of the father or the mother or the grandparent with the child, where you would have special days dedicated to just them, where the mom and the child would actually get together, do a cooking activity, a comparative activity where, yes, even if the egos of the parents were getting massaged as a simultaneous process, at the same time we were making sure that the child was gaining in that one thing which we believed in most importantly, and that is self-esteem. Somewhere along in 2004 and 5 we discovered that extracurricular activities stood and were really a substitute for self-esteem, something which probably was lacking when I was 7 years old and I was trying to break into the school team, or in every child today whom Kriya seeks to empower, teach and educate. Self-esteem, ladies and gentlemen, is that one thing which probably as parents, as modern society, we have failed to provide to our children. That could be probably because of a variety of factors. It could be lack of time spent with our children, it could be quality time spent with our children. And some of these programs and workshops did exactly that. They were Bollywood masala workshops. The child would come, would cry on the first day, and the parent would ask us, should I stay outside the club and wait for the child to calm down? And we said, just go away and let the child be. And those 5 minutes of crying and wailing would turn into laughter a couple of hours later. And to our surprise, we were given feedbacks like the child not wanting to go back to her home. And the next day, the child waking up at 7 on a holiday day saying, Mama, I want to go to Kriya. That gave us a sense of responsibility. So along with the whole commercial aspect of creating a business out of nothing and starting an entire enterprise which focused on creating not just brand value but also brand equity, we suddenly realized that we had a responsibility